Very good evening to you with a Tuesday, August 21st edition of the CBC Evening News. I am Ryan Broom in our top story. A 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit near Venezuela around 5:30 this afternoon, which was felt as far away as Barbados, causing residents many anxious moments. Confirmation of the quake from the United States Geological Survey, which says it hit about 30 miles from Guayara, Sucre, Venezuela, and the quake was felt right here in Barbados for several seconds, and people reported feeling shaking in Grenada as well as Trinidad and Tobago and other places. According to the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center, the earthquake was located at latitude 10.51 degrees north and longitude 62.76 degrees west. It still was unclear whether there was any significant damage or injuries as a result of today's quake. And residents over the Pines said they were shaken.
It was sort of like a flashback of when we had the tremor over 10 years ago, I think it was. I was now finishing up a rap, was propping on the gallery and just started to feel a bit lightheaded. So I was asking my training partner if he felt it, and he said no.
I was just sitting on the wall, talking to the guys, and I felt this wall here going left and right, rocking like this here. I said, Michael, your wall shaking. He wants nothing, go ahead here. I tell you, no, the wall shaking. And then my brother experienced the same thing and said, yeah, the wall shaking for true.
We were all just sitting down, and I suffer with migraine, so at first it was like, okay, I'm a little dizzy, so I was holding the chair and the table, and I was like, no, but this ain't dizziness. And then we actually were looking at the cars and the antennas, and the cars started to shake. We were like, okay, what is the earth tremor? And it actually lasted for like 35 to, I would say, 50 seconds. Yeah, it lasted fairly long. So then we were like, oh gosh, you know, everyone starts to freak out. But after everything settled down, we were like, okay, it's an earth tremor. And then, you know, you went on the Facebooks and the Instagram, and then you saw everybody posting about it. So it was normal, I guess, after.
My head was shaking, and as it was shaking, this is something got to be wrong. Thought I was drunk, but then it's the wires then on the car shaking, so I know it's shaking too.
What you come to say?
I don't say no what they're talking
And I could definitely relate to some of those stories. Well, in other news, Barbados may have to follow the United Kingdom and pass laws prohibiting government from entering into contracts when elections are called. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley put forward the recommendation during a St. Michael's South East branch meeting.
And I can go on and on and on about the things that were done during that period of time. But when the AG tells you, and when I tell you, that we have to have a conversation in this country, and I am being very frank, I am having one now with the Archbishop of the Roman Catholic Church, who wrote me, and who wrote me in a way that actually reflected how I feel. And my colleagues know how I feel about these things. Because we have to build a country. And when all is said and done, in 5 years' time, nobody is looking for vengeance. In 5 years' time, each and every one of you is looking for prosperity.
And Prime Minister Motley says she was taken aback by the behavior of an unnamed private sector company as it relates to government's efforts to purchase garbage trucks.
A group went overseas to be able to look at second-hand trucks pursuant to a board paper. And a certain car company's representatives happened to be at every single location that the group that went representing the Sanitation Services Authority went to. And when the Attorney General and I found out, we told the minister, tell them come home the next day. Because I need to know how a private sector group that was not part of the cabinet paper could be there at every location.
The Transport Board is working tirelessly to have over 100 buses ready for the road in time for the upcoming school year. As part of that effort, high-ranking officials toured the Transport Board's Weymouth St. Michael headquarters and bus terminals in the Bridgetown area. Our Kareem Smith went along and he filed this report.
The Transport Board is in a race against time to overcome challenges posed by an aging fleet ahead of the new school year. Minister of Transport William Duguid says although many buses are still out of commission, the Transport Board has managed to increase the number on the road.
It used to be in the early 60s and 70s, and now I'm very happy that we have our bus availability up to 92. Our target is to reach 179 with all told, but certainly when the schools start back, I am told, I'm reliably informed that they will get it up to about 105 buses available.
Transport Board Chairman Gregory Nichols says they're doing all they can to improve bus availability.
It's difficult to estimate what is going to happen to bus A tomorrow, right? So it fluctuates, but we're trying to put a real effort. We have ramped up the shifts at the Quality Assurance Department at Transport Board, working nights, doubling up on weekends.
While visiting the various terminals, they also realized the solution involves more than fixing buses.
We just were speaking to one of the drivers about the heat that in here gets under when it's full, and these are things we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at fire safety so that we have the fire hoses getting all through the terminal, fire extinguishers more in the terminal, because when you look at it really, to be able to get out of this terminal, only 2 small doors, and if you have hundreds of people in here and these areas are locked, it could be an issue.
The minister also promised to review the entire system to improve the overall service. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. Well, popular 90s DJ John DJ JP International Pollard is dead. The 50-year-old's body was pulled from a well in St. George yesterday. CBC's Shane Jones has more.
Police at the Boarded Hall station received a report sometime after 2 in the afternoon yesterday indicating that a motor car appeared to be involved in an accident and was in a ditch somewhere in this area a few meters off the road. Investigations by lawmen led to the discovery of Pollard's body in this well. Our cameras visited Pollard's home in Newbury, St. George, and it's there we spoke with neighbor and childhood friend Richard Brathwaite.
He was a top DJ for a long time, but it's an unfortunate thing that happened, and you know what I'm saying?
When you first heard about the incident, what went through your mind?
You know, it hurt. But I passed it the evening, and I saw one of his friends standing on the sidewalk. But just as we turned, I happened to glance and I saw the top of a car. So I tell the person that the vehicle I was in, you see that car down behind it, he tell me yeah. Right, so I turned and I said, well, it can't be the fella there, because the fella is one of the JP friends. Because he drive a blue car. But after I come home, my neighbor then come and ask me if I hear what happened to JP. Tell she know. She tell me that JP crashed the car up the road and they can't find him.
Police are treating his death as unnatural and are urging anyone who may have knowledge of what happened to contact them. Shane Jones, CBC News.
Welcome back. Well, more registered nurses are needed in Barbados, and the head of their representative body, Joanna Waterman, wants that void filled. According to Ms. Waterman, who's president of the Barbados Nurses Association, 86 registered nurses were needed since 2012, and that number has since increased.
The document to which I refer, to be specific, their projection for a 5-year period from 2013 to 2018 was 89, the need for 89 registered nurses, predominantly senior level health sisters, staff nurses, plus they had mentioned some 11 nursing assistants at that point in time based on the expansion.
Well, First Vice President Heather Dean believes the practice of nurses taking up specialty positions has also contributed to the shortage.
In the psychiatric hospital, there is now a recreational therapist, and she has been drawn from the nursing staff. The EEG specialist. There was also the opening of the Quarterway House, and the person heading that is also a member drawn from the nursing staff. The community mental health nurses have also been increased. I think they're now about 60. Previously, there were about 6 or so, but they're now 16, and they too have been drawn from the nursing complement of the hospital. There's now a quality assurance officer acting, again, a nurse from the nursing complement.
Barbados' new National Wellness Initiative will be launched next month. Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic says it will be revealed on September 8th. He believes it will help to encourage positive lifestyles.
We have to tackle not only one aspect of wellness, which in the past has been mostly physical, certainly within the ministry, but we have to look at the mental, the spiritual, the physical, and the psychosocial aspects of wellness. And this initiative is going to be given a lot of support, because I believe that if we are really going to make a dent in terms of the health services that we are providing and reduce the incidence of NCDs and other diseases within our society, then wellness must be at the forefront of the effort.
By the end of December this year, Caribbean Single Market and Economy member states could very well have completed the legal work necessary for their skilled nationals to seek employment freely throughout the community. This is the word from Barbados' Ambassador-designate to CARICOM, David Comachon. Speaking during a press conference at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the outcomes of this year's government meeting, Ambassador Comachon said the move would benefit people who fit into one of the 10 categories of skilled CARICOM nationals.
By the end of this year, all of these categories of persons, all of the legal work is expected to be done to allow all of these 10 categories of persons to move freely across the region to seek employment.
And he acknowledged those skilled nationals moving to other countries may have families. And this year's Heads of Government meeting has made provisions for this by creating the Protocol on Contingent Rights. The protocol, signed by 7 countries, provides rights for the spouse and dependent children of the skilled nationals to travel unrestricted to and from those 7 host countries.
The spouse now has the right to travel freely to the new host country and to be entitled to work in the new host country without requiring a work permit. Those children are entitled to travel to the new host country, to live in the new host country, and to access primary education in the new host country on the same terms as citizens of the new host country.
In other news, even though the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season is now about halfway without any major activity, Barbadians are being advised to still be prepared. This advice from Acting Director of the Barbados Meteorological Services, Sonia Nurse. She was speaking at a recent disaster preparedness town hall meeting organized by the St. Michael Parish Independence Committee. Ariane Phillips has more in this report.
Before the start of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, it was expected to be near or above normal. The initial outlook included 10 to 16 named storms, 5 to 9 hurricanes, and 1 to 4 major hurricanes. Since then, those figures have been revised.
12 named storms, 5 hurricanes, and 1 major hurricane. A major hurricane is a category 3 or above. But mind you, we have had 5 systems so far in the Atlantic. Fortunately for us, none of them have impacted our area. Beryl was the closest one that came to us, but it did not do any significant damage in any of the islands of the Eastern Caribbean.
St. Michael Northwest MP Neil Rowe also attended the town hall, and he's planning to continue a cleanup campaign in his constituency.
We want to continue our cleanup campaign because I think it is a must to always have a clean and tidy community, and by doing that, we need to provide the necessary resources and join hands with those constituents in the various areas where may have a high volume of garbage, right? We're also working with the Sanitation Service Authority as well.
The 2018 hurricane season ends on November 30th. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Thanks, Rian. Well, the winner of the 2018 Party Monarch competition, Mikey, will definitely be defending his title next year. He was speaking to CBC after receiving the keys to his brand new Mazda 3 from MQI, and free comprehensive coverage compliments Massey Insurance. While he's still deciding what to do with the car, Mikey has revealed he's already looking forward to crop over 2019.
I like competition bad. Can't be real. I like competition bad. So once I am prepared, and I intend to be, I think I definitely will be defending.
In the meantime, the popular entertainer says he's gearing up to take his music beyond Barbados' shores over the next few months.
Straight after this is Labor Day. Labor Day, while I'm stationed in New York, I'll be touching a few other states. I'll be also going over to Canada to do a few shows. Then there's Miami Carnival in October, and I will be heading over to Trinidad because the song was getting some good spin in Trinidad already as well. And then we're looking at some of the other, what do you call it, Americas, like St. Thomas and all sort of things. So it's shaping up to be a very, very busy few months so far.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet has assured civil servants whose departments are being merged that no jobs will be lost as a result of the formation of the new Border Control Agency. Speaking during yesterday's pre-cabinet briefing, his last before heading on holiday, Mr. Chastanet says the formation of the agency is consistent with the path being taken by many countries.
There is nothing envisioned that anybody is being dislocated or sent anywhere else. The police officers will no longer be performing the function of immigration. So the police officers will now go back to the substantive post on the beat, which we're very excited about because we would like to see more policemen on the road. And I would have liked that to have happened already. But given the lack of software systems, so we've not been able to do that. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Customs now would really be taking on the role of immigration, also integrating the quarantine, and really the people who are part of the Marine Police will now all have the same status. So if anything, Customs is being upgraded, not downgraded. We don't see anybody being sent home.
Moving over to the Cayman Islands now, a new dress code policy is in place for all government primary and high schools in the British Overseas Territory. We have a report from CIG TV.
The policy outlines expectations in relation to the dress code, which officials are reminding the public is an important component in teaching students the important life skills of presenting themselves in a well-groomed manner and in dressing for purpose. It also helps to instill in students a sense of pride and belonging, says a press release. Each individual school will outline expectations with respect to their own uniforms in relation to the color and style of socks, pants, skirts, shirts, blouses, belts, undershirts, and required PE kit. But let's take a look now at the list of dress code expectations which apply to all of the government schools. Well, students are expected to follow the dress code rules. If a student does not comply with expectations without an exemption being authorized, then consequences, they say, should be applied as described in the Student Code of Conduct, Teacher Guidance. Students will be penalized for a first, second, and third offense for breaking the rules.
Well, Sports World is just ahead with Anne-Marie Burke, but first, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Before a hurricane, you should fill your vehicle with petrol so that it is available for emergency purposes in the event that gas stations are not working. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.